Hi, I'm Tracey Trottenberg, and I am so excited to welcome you back to the third video in our series called Unleash. Of course, the whole series is called Own, Honor, and Unleash, and this video is going to talk about what it means to unleash. Let me do a quick recap for you. In video number 1, we talked about what it means to own, what it really means to own your strength, your truth, your power, your passion, your presence, your purpose, so that you can really claim and be it now. Because part of what you're claiming is your magnificence and your greatness, and closing that gap inside the gap. In honor, we talked about what it means for you to honor your journey, to celebrate you, the juicy you, and celebrate others, to integrate all of you so we get to know all of you and we get to celebrate the totality of who you are, and you get to stand in that, which is where your power and your presence comes from. And we talked about breaking sacred contracts, breaking the status quo, if you will, of what's going on out there, so that when you show up, you are showing up in a way that is distinct and in a way that separates you from the crowd. Obviously, I'm not about separation. I'm about connection and oneness and togetherness. The kind of separation that I'm talking about is where you stand out. And you stand out because you're being more of you, the true you. And because you're doing the work inside so that you're aligned, you're embodied, you're integrated. Now we get to talk about what it means to unleash. And you've probably heard that word a lot. And people talk about it. And I want to take it deeper because I'm thinking by now you have a sense that I like to take things deeper. And I like to go deeper and higher. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing I want you to know about what it means to unleash is the difference between turning it on and being it. Let me give you an example. And I have many examples. So think about when you've seen this, or maybe when it's been you. I know time after time after time I'll go to a networking event and I will interact with a woman. I'll see her come in, maybe we'll have a conversation, or I'll see her talking to other people, and she shows up one way. Then we end up in a conversation where it's about business, or let's say it's a circle where everybody's sharing what they do, or a moment where you get to stand up and say what you do. And then suddenly, whoop, they turn it on and they become this expert, and this is what I do, and this is how they share it, and they, turn it on. And here's why that will never work. The reason that will never work is because if I, in that example, have had an experience of a woman who shows up one way and then flips into something else, viscerally, I know it's not congruent. You know that know, like, and trust factor? You know that know, like, and, it's about connection. It's about really building that relationship, that rapport, that connection, so that people start to know you and they like you and they trust you. Well, it's a energetic thing. And when somebody sees you in one way and then you think that you're just going to turn it on and show up in another way to, here's what I do, or prove your message, it ain't going to work. It's just never going to work. And I'm really taking a moment on this because I want you to really hear this. Everything that I say is not about being perfect. So let me be very clear about that. It is not about being perfect. It is about being aware, self-aware. This whole process, this whole journey, the work that I do with my clients at our events, in our programs, it is all about going from self-awareness to self-mastery. Okay? So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be conscious and aware and in progress. When you walk into an event, if you start talking, or you walk into a meeting or somewhere and you start talking and complaining about the traffic or the weather or this or that, and then you're going to suddenly turn it on where you become dynamic and an expert and this or that, people are going to recognize that you are not congruent. You are not congruent. So you need to become very clear about how you show up when you walk into a room. and unleash your magnificence right from the get-go. That doesn't mean that every moment is up. It doesn't mean that at all. You're allowed to be up and down and have your human experience. It just means that you are doing the work to be that person that you say you are. That's why we got to close the gap inside the gap. You understand? You see how it all fits together? I see this so often. Women walk in and they have a sour face, or they have an expression on their face, and then they turn on a smile. When you walk into a room, walk in with a smile. You want to stand out from the crowd? Do that. I am so not kidding. It amazes me how few people smile when they walk into a room or a networking event or get out on stage. That's what you do. What I'm interested is in you closing the gap to become the person that you really know that you are meant to be. And one of the things is to commit to yourself. And all it takes is being willing, and keep that intention and hold that attention, like really put your focus on it, is that you are going to be it, not turn it on. Okay? I want you to really get that distinction. Because if you get that, that's a game changer as well. Because that means that you are consistent and people will see that about you. It doesn't mean you're always up, and it doesn't mean you're perfect. But it means that you're authentic. That's authentic. That's authentic. That's congruent. I believe that congruent is really like, authentic 3.0. I think authentic's overused, but congruent, that's hot. So don't be somebody who turns it on, okay? Be mindful of that and start paying attention to that. And instead, when you walk into a room, smile, create conversation that's engaging, that's positive. People love that. They want to be around that. And they want to be around you, okay? Be that. The second part of what it means to unleash is to put yourself out there. It's to be willing to be seen, to be heard, to be visible. So many women, and maybe you can relate, have a concern, an issue, a fear of being seen. And it looks like this. It looks like, what if I say I'm going to do something, or I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to put myself out there, I'm going to be seen, and I don't get there? Equal to that is, what if I say I'm going to do it, I put myself out there, I get out there, I'm visible, I'm seen, and I do get there? What happens if I fail, and what happens if I succeed? These are real fears that we have as women, that you might have as women. The other thing that women do when it comes to being visible is they do one of two things. I call it over the top or under the radar. Over the top is when you're quite bottom line, like just to say it, is when you're trying to prove yourself. You're going over the top, you're over enthusiastic, you're over emphasizing your point, you're overdoing it. When you do that, and it's not coming out of your passion, and it's not coming out of knowing how to modulate your voice as a speaker and how to engage people and bring them in and do that, which is all stuff I had mentioned at the beginning that I teach and talk about in the training that we do for speaking, because you need to know how to do that. You need to know how to do that. So I don't mean that, because there's a time where you want to turn up your voice, lower it, come out stronger, pull back. That's part of the art and skill of being a speaker, an effective speaker. And the flip side of that is when you're trying to prove yourself, when you're trying to overcompensate for something. And I see a lot of women, in fact, often I'm at events, and I will have women that or people that know me in the audience, they know what I do, and there'll be a woman on stage, and they'll come over to me and they'll go, please work with her, she needs your help, because she's so over the top. The other side that I see a lot is under the radar. So what that means is that instead of just being you and claiming and owning and starting to do the work to really be comfortable in your skin, because it's a work in progress. You're a work in progress, I'm a work in progress, we're all a work in progress. Anyone who says they're not, go in the other direction, okay? So it's not about like being there perfect, but it is about showing yourself. So when you're under the radar, you're actually trying not to be seen. You're hoping to be invisible. There's this kind of like, maybe you won't really see me. All of that comes from ways and things that we learned as kids. Survival strategies. Things that we had to do to be loved, to be accepted, to be approved. We all have it. You do too. And it makes sense. Now you get to choose. Now you get to be courageous and put yourself out there in bigger ways, on stage, in social media, at a networking event, introducing yourself, on a date, anywhere. Anything that puts yourself out there, knees knocking, heart pounding, stomach thinking, oh my God, I might lose it right now, or I might pass out, or I've had all of those things. I'll tell you stories another time. I've had all of those things. And still do. There are times where my knees are knocking, my heart's pounding, and I'm learning, and I've learned, and I teach this, that when your heart's pounding, when you're about to take a risk, it just means you're more alive. It just means there's more energy coming through you because you're about to expand, and that's your natural expression, is expansion. We just need to reframe it. Okay, so under the radar, you don't want to be. Over the top, you don't want to be. Unleashing is about being you. It's about being comfortable in your skin. It's about letting people see you. It's about finding your voice and your words and your body language that say, I'm here. And putting yourself out there through very strategic, tactical ways in your marketing, in your branding, in social media, when you go out to speak, at networking events, everything that you do to grow your business and grow your visibility. Very specific things that you need to do. Of course, we teach that, we talk about that, and I work on that with my clients, but where it comes from is your yes to getting out there with your message and being seen and unleashing, not playing it safe, not doing it in a box, not doing it the way anybody else is doing it, has done it, or tells you to do it. Get expert guidance, get coaching, get mentoring. Absolutely, work with experts. Seriously, don't not do that because you'll waste a lot of time and energy and money. So definitely have coaches and experts that you work with. But always run it through your truth and take the risks and go for it. Okay, so that's the second aspect about what it means to unleash. Don't go over the top and don't be under the radar. The third is this. It's the magical word. It's the core of everything in so many ways. We spent a lot of time on this in our event, in our Own, Honor, and Unleash event. I spent a lot of this in the work that I do with my clients. It's an ongoing process. The word is permission. The word is permission. If you want to unleash and you want to let the world or your community or whatever your sphere and audience is, if you want to let people know who you are and get yourself out there, you need to give yourself permission. Ain't nobody else going to do it for you. Believe me, I would have liked for other people to have done it, and I was waiting for permission, and I was trying to do it right, and I wanted to be liked, and all the stuff that I'm sure you can relate to. I share that with you because I get it. I get it. You're not alone. You're not alone. And at a certain moment, especially in this conversation that we've been having, owning, honoring, unleashing, you got to give yourself permission to go for it. And it's not like a one-time thing where you go, okay, I'm giving myself permission and now I'm going to go. No, it turns out that you got to give yourself permission every step of the way because you're doing this every step of the way. And it takes something. So it's key that you give yourself permission. One of the things I do with my clients and one of the things that we do at the Own, Honor, and Unleash event is create a permission pass. Like literally where you give yourself permission to go for it. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes to unleash. And I'm asking you to be courageous enough, to be willing enough to do that. To let yourself find within you the courage, the strength, the conviction, your truth. That's what it is to own. That's what it is to claim. That's what it is to honor. Where you're actually doing what you know you're here meant to do, even if you don't know how. It takes unleashing. It takes breaking the status quo. The status quo, one of the songs that I sing, the words go like this. So long, status quo. I think I just let go. You make me want to be brave. How's that for a little unleashing right there? A little song for you. I want you to do the same. It doesn't have to be a song. Your own version of stepping outside your comfort zone, of expanding your box that you've been playing in, giving yourself permission, not over the top, not under the radar, authentically, truthfully, not because you turn it on, but because you do the work every day to be this person, this messenger, that you are here to fulfill your divine calling, your God work, to be the messenger, the speaker, the leader, the expert, the one that you know that you're here to be. Whether you know it fully in your skin, whether you are still kind of like trying it on, or you're anywhere in between, it doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you that it's true, what you believe inside of you in terms of your dreams and your vision, that calling, not that critic, not that chatter, not the negatives, the part in you that has a hope for something better, the part in you that wants to bring this out, even if you don't know how and it's scary. I'm here to tell you that that's real. I'm here to tell you that that's really needed. And I'm here to tell you that that is a really juicy way to live your life and to walk this path, because it's what you're meant for. When you own, when you honor, and when you unleash. So I thank you for being in this, on this, with me, in as part of this journey together, for participating in these videos, because I'm sure that you've done the assignments that you've been getting. Your assignment for this one, for Unleash, is to seriously, and you might want to go to the beach, or go for a walk, or go connect with nature, or journal, or do something really fun. Take your little girl, your inner little girl, out on a play date. Do something fun and crazy. And then once you're in that vibration, once you're in that energy, then honestly look at, where do I kind of want to unleash more? And give yourself permission to do that. And at the basics too, give yourself permission to be out there, to be seen, to connect, to talk. Just keep kicking it up, because that's what it takes. I trust that these have been valuable for you. I do so much of this. We do this at our live Own, Honor, and Unleash event. We do it in our different workshops and programs, and certainly in the one-on-one and private coaching. And I just so much wanted to give you enough that you could actually take it in, do this inner work, so that you could come out in the world as a speaker, as a leader, as a woman, and make the impact, and create the results, and live the fulfillment and the abundance and the joy and the juiciness that you're meant to have, as you're meant to have, connected to your divinity, doing your God work, true to your heart, your brilliance. You know what you know. You know that you got something to say, and going for it. So thank you for being here, and go do your assignment. I'm serious. Make sure that you do it. And I cannot wait to see you own, honor, and unleash your magnificence. Bye for now.